Good morning, Grace. Stalls here, and I want to invite you into this new rhythm for reading the Gospel of Mark all together. And the way it works, if you got one of these yesterday, or if you go online because you weren't able to be at the church to pick one of these up, we do have these available out back of the church, and you can pick them up there. But you can go to gracesnellville.com/mark to find this as well. But here's how this works. You're going to look at the week of August 3rd to 7th. Can you believe it's already first week of August? And there you find that the passage in this little guide is Mark chapter 1, verse 40 through chapter 2, verse 17. And then if you happen to get the journaling edition of the Gospel of Mark, you just go right there and see that the first story is Jesus cleansing the leper. And then there's a story about Jesus healing the paralytic who's lowered through the roof. And then, of course, Jesus calling another disciple named Levi. And it creates a bit of stir among the community. Now, the way that I usually approach reading a text, if I'm going to really try to enter into it as a preacher, is that it's got to do something in me before I feel confident being able to share with you guys. It's a living, inspired scripture, and so I try to sit with it all week long. I listen to it, I read it, I ask questions, I imagine myself in that situation. And in our weekly rhythm, I'm kind of inviting you into a little bit of that same sort of process. Maybe you're not going to be in a position where you preach it on Sunday, but hopefully it will be a living text in your life too. And so Monday, of course, we're talking about reading it, and then Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll talk about how we hear it, and then on Wednesday, how we say it, and then Thursday, pray it. Friday, do it. Of course, you can do it before Friday if the Lord really convicts your heart about some kind of action. But for today's reading, as you go through, I encourage you to simply make observations as you read it nice and slowly. This is the English Standard Version, that translation. But maybe you prefer to read NIV or New Living, which is a little more phrase by phrase. Some people prefer Eugene Peterson's The Message translation. But I would encourage you to read it just in one or two primary translations. You don't need to get into like 15 or 20 different translations. That could be a bit overwhelming. But just read it nice and slowly. Pay attention to phrases and ideas that stand out. Think about questions you can ask of the text and dig into farther. For example, when Jesus heals the leper, he says, go to the priest and show them that you're well. Well, where does that come from? Little hint, check out Leviticus 13 if you want the Old Testament law about leprosy. Or Levi. Why is it such a big deal that Levi is a tax collector? What does that name Levi even mean? And you go back, you find, wow, that's one of the 12 patriarchs of the tribes of Israel, actually meant to be the priestly line. And now here's this guy with this noble priestly name collecting taxes for the evil Gentile empire from his own brethren. No wonder the scribes of the Pharisees are so upset. So read it nice and slowly. Ask some questions. Let these stories begin to soak into your bones, and then let them start to illuminate and irrigate how you understand Jesus. All right, so keep following Jesus well. We'll talk again tomorrow, but it sounds like to hear the text.